FM, and of course, this includes the surrounding area. We are also live on our Facebook page. Look out for it, like it, share it, and leave us a comment if you can. And that's 5FM Radio Zambia, and also on YouTube. Let me make mention that we are also live on our partner radio stations. We are live on Isunga FM, and that's 88.3. That is in Senga Hill, to be precise, Northern Province. Thank you very much for tapping into this particular program. Also live on Tuta FM in Mansa, 90.7, covering the rest of Luapula Province. Thank you very much to you. And live as well on Muchinga Radio in Chinsali, and covering the rest of Muchinga Province on 88.1. And Kapiri and the northern side of Central Province is well covered. We are live on ZFM, that is on 100.3 FM. And Copperbelt is equally covered. We are both on iWave FM radio in Chingola, that is on 90.1 FM, covering the rest of the Copper Belt. So is Platinum Radio on 99.7 in Ndola, equally covering the rest of the Copper Belt. Kabwe, covering Central Province, we are live on Spice FM 91.1, and very grateful to you for obviously tapping into this program. And last but not the least, we are live on Katete FM, that is on 103.3, covering literally the entire Eastern Province. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thursday edition of The Burning Issue, and I'm your host, Banda. Today, we discuss everything, the economic status of this country, and we will definitely be touching on very interesting topics, if I may just make mention and probably just give you a hint of what is expected of us. We will definitely discuss the impact of global economic trends as well, and how Zambia is positioning itself. Infrastructure development is one of them that we'll talk about, but not forgetting SME development as well, and many other sectors that impact greatly on the economy. And our guest to help us understand this and unpack all this is Dr. Lubinda Haabazoka. He is an economist and lecturer at the University of Zambia. Doc, Happy New Year. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for inviting me today.
How have you been?
I've been fine, very busy. This year has begun as if it's not January. January should start slow. Yeah, then you move, but now it's just wake.
Does that tell you that the economy is big?
I think so, and maybe this is going to, it should, you can't just be busy, there's no money. So let's hope this is going to translate into having money.
Of course, we hope so too, yeah. However, let's get right into it. I mean, Zambia's economy has traditionally been, reliant on copper exports. But the question is, and there's been a lot of talk about this government or many other governments, or indeed future governments, should strategize and implement, to diversify the economy and reduce dependence on single commodity. Let's just hear from you. What strategies can the government implement to diversify the economy, just so that you reduce dependency on a single commodity, and in this case being copper?
Well, I think that when you look at economic diversification and the structure of Zambia's economy, Zambia's economy from 1992-93 moved from being a government-led to a private sector-led economy.
Right.
So in the context of what we have, of course, successful governments have realized that in some areas, probably Zambians don't have money to invest. So they kept shareholding in certain critical companies, and those companies are scattered around IDC, Industrial Development Corporation, and also ZCCM Investment Holdings.
Right.
So our parastatals are represented within IDC and ZCCM-IH. Then the larger chunk of the economy is supposed to be led by the private sector. So in terms of economic diversification, we always talk about that, and we always talk about that, especially when copper prices are low and the kwacha starts getting mad. But now everything is rosy, but I'm sure people probably have even forgotten about this. So one thing I would like to say is that in Zambia, we are operating a market economy, but with a mind, with a socialist mind, meaning citizens who are supposed to do business still think that things will be created by, or companies will be created by government.
Okay.
Of course, in very critical areas, like for example, if you want to build a new nuclear power plant, if you want to build a hydropower station, all those, of course, those are huge projects. Government is very much interested. But if you want to be not only growing tobacco and you want to make cigarettes, I'm sure government cannot set up a company to make cigarettes. That's now forced to the private sector. If you want to be making trousers, government cannot make trousers from textile. That is now up to the private sector. So I think we need to take stock as a country and have a conversation around what is the responsibility of government and what is the responsibility of a citizen.
Right.
And for a citizen to be able to build business so that they diversify, what is that? What does that citizen want in terms of economic conditions from government, and also in terms of the legal framework, so that it's easy for that person to do so. In a nutshell, economic diversification should be centered around making Zambians create wealth through business creation and also maybe export, even at small scale level. We have countries in the neighboring, in the neighborhood that basically can get goods from the small scale farmer, from the small scale builder. But I think that we need to have conversations more on what type of businesses Zambians should engage in.
Yeah, but also there's been, what I think is that Zambians, yes, they are eager and they have the appetite to do business, but I think there's been very little that government has done deliberately in terms of helping most of these SMEs to grow, because mostly the complaints around SMEs and those who would want to is that they are heavily taxed, and also you've got so many obligations that as a startup, you really find that all your startup capital ends up into paying all sorts of obligations. I mean,
well, that is true. When you look at the small scale business person, first, of course, if a person is clean Zambian, they choose to go and open a company with Pakra. You pay 200 kwacha, or 243 for name search. Then again, you pay, I think, 1,000 for registering a company. Then, of course, you need to go to NAPSA, NIMA. Then there are a lot of other hidden costs that come with this. For example, according to our Employment Act, you need employment policies, meaning you need an HR expert to develop them. You won't have those policies for less than 30,000 kwacha. These guys are charging for HIV policy, disciplinary code, the grievance, whatever.
Yeah.
They'll charge you. So that is before you even produce something. Then also when you have employed some people to do stuff, then you need to pay for them NAPSA, NIMA, and you need to pay them salaries, pay as you earn. And if your turnover is below 5,000 kwacha, you need to pay turnover tax, whether you have made profit or not, but you have sold something. Is it 5 or 6%? You need to pay in form of taxes. So I think these conditions have increased the entry barriers for Zambians to be able to do business. So what we need to do now is try to see certain laws, how they can be watered down, so that you don't suffocate the small player. Probably in a big company with 1,000 employees, where you have unions, you might want all these policies. But for example, me and I employ a neighbor, and then you want me to have an HIV policy, a what policy? Why can those policies be just embedded in the law so that we just follow them? Why should we have to develop them ourselves as companies? So these are the things that are increasing the cost of doing business. And besides that, you also need certain things. You need workers' compensation.
Right.
You need the councils are also going to knock on your door. You need the trading license, fire certificate, health certificate, all these things. And So before you do anything as a small business player, you need to do that. There was, of course, good news. The ministry, I think they're responsible for small SMEs, announced that they are going to introduce a single license for SMEs. Let's hope that this is going to come quickly, and especially before the elections. This one should come before elections, so that people, are very sure that this thing, they are really going to have it. Because maybe after the elections, it
might go to sleep.
It might either go to sleep, or other people might come in, God forbid, and forget to do that.
Right. Well, let's also discuss the debt sustainability. Zambia's public debt, I think, has been, a concern in recent years. How then do you think government can balance its debt obligations with a need to invest in critical sectors like manufacturing and social services as well?
Well, it's a very difficult situation that our country finds itself in. First, on one hand, our population is growing, so it needs more number of classrooms, it needs more roads because to avoid congestion, more hospitals to provide more water supply systems, sewer systems, because the population is growing. So you need that infrastructure to support your population. Then on one hand, government cannot invest in that, or government's ability to invest in that is limited because government has to service a huge debt that we previously borrowed. So, of course, the current government have found a clever way to go around it, where they have started doing public-private partnerships.
Right.
Public-private partnerships is where government and the private sector come together. The private sector will invest money, build the project, run it to make some profits, and also recoup the money that they invested in. Then, after the end of the concession period, transfer to government a fully operational facility. So this is one way government is doing that. But unfortunately, also in this case, in terms of business creation, Zambians are just watching. They think such things are not for them, they are for foreigners. So, of course, there are other Zambians that are ambitious and want these projects. But what I've observed in Zambia is that we are always waiting for somebody to do stuff for us. So we need to change that mentality and culture and see how even a simple thing, an area that needs solar, you can, and you have a bit of some coins, you can go and apply to ERB and supply them power from that. There's a licensing procedure for that. So there are a lot of ways in which we can make business, we can make money. And most businesses, they don't start with people having money. They just had an idea. A business starts with an idea. When the idea is good, you're going to find suitable funders. But what I can tell you, business is not an easy thing. The easiest thing to do is a job. All you need to do is to have the skills, wake up in the morning, go and work, knock off and come back. So doing business is difficult. So we need to be able to understand the entrepreneur that is helping to pump in tax revenues into government. And also we need to understand government, how government exists. Government is made up of you and me, Zambian citizens. It's not independent of us. Government is selected from the population, and the government is a population. So we should never be hostile to each and any government. So we are part of government solution. There's no government in Zambia that has ever come through a coup. All governments have won elections. UNIP won elections, MMD won elections, PF won elections, UPND won elections, meaning the people gave these political parties mandates. So when you get the mandate, you should not, just because probably you did not get a job, you become frustrated, or just because they made a decision that you don't like. There's no way in life decisions are always going to go your way. So, but that should not give you, if decisions are not going your way, that should not give you a chance now to pull back and wait for the next election. You will always be pulling back and waiting for the next election. So what we need to do now as citizens is to be able to now actively engage government. I mean, the president is on Facebook, ministers are on Facebook. We know they sit on WhatsApp groups. Sometimes if you find a minister there, they are even going to respond those things were unheard of in the 80s, in the 90s. To just say a minister, when a minister is arriving in a district, they would even paint the trees and sweep the streets because a minister is coming in. But now we have ministers that are much closer to the population. But I think we are not using them accordingly. And because we are not using them accordingly, probably some of the challenges they might not know. You know, you can't guess that somebody is suffering. So somebody has to know what's suffering. Yeah. But in overall, common problems in this country are known. Of course, some leaders do not engage. That is between that particular leader and the electorate. Right. They know what to do. Some leaders engage. If a person is engaging and things are okay, I think all you need to do is to give them support. And in this particular case, I think Zambians should learn from me. I don't care whether PF, UPND, UNIP, NAREP, what, but as long as you hold political office, then I treat you as a public servant, a trustee that people put there, and I'm going to engage you. Of course, previously I've faced hostility from some people where you want to engage and they're hostile because they think probably you were too close to the previous president or to the current president. Yeah. So you find those hostilities, but that is the nature of man. But overall, I do not see a reason why government and citizens should be hostile to each other. I think this is they said muntu moja, one person. So leaders are always selected from the public. So let's work together, and we're wasting time. We need to work together and find solutions to this particular country. For the business people, let's not hate business. Business is the one that is contributing taxes. Employment laws. I know we need to protect the worker, but the worker is overprotected in this particular country. Not only are you supposed to pay for them NAPSA, you're supposed to again keep in an in-house pension fund, which is now where is the money going to come from doing business? Then the same people is going to say, no, we are not getting employment. You're not being employed because the employer is scared of getting extra costs. That's how the labor market probably works. So we need to have an honest conversation and not be selfish. One group cannot be selfish against the other. So we need to find a common ground and see how we can push forward as Zambian citizens.
Now, let me, before we continue into other sectors, but let's get around, because obviously I did make mention that there's been a lot of talk around debt management or sustainability. But let's also discuss something that has been on people's lips, and I think that the majority citizens have really failed to understand this so-called inflation management. And inflation actually in this country has been a challenge, affecting obviously purchasing power of citizens. But then the question is, what monetary policy tools can the Bank of Zambia, for example, employ to just keep inflation in check?
When you look at inflation is the rate at which prices grow.
Right.
And if your inflation rate is going to be high, it means that prices are going to be growing faster than income. And when that happens, it means that you won't be able to afford goods. So that's why it's very important to fight inflation. I was on our radio station 2 days ago, and I was telling people that the price of minimum is cheap, and people did not understand me. But this is what I meant. Look, we have had high inflation rate. So other products, the price of other products have quickly gone down, but the price of minimum, I think one time it even reached 400, but now it's around the 200 cases. But the price of minimum was falling. But the price of fertilizer, the price of seed has been going up, but the price of maize is going down. That is an anomaly. So when you experience that, you are going to have very few millers or very few farmers engaging into farming. So government understands that, and to be able to do that, government pays in inputs, cheap inputs, over 8 billion Zambian kwacha every year to farmers to give them free cheap fertilizer, cheap inputs, so that they should be able to grow so that we can eat. But what we need to do in Zambia is to grow our income. So minimum is not expensive, it's cheap. It's our income that might be low because our disposable income has been reduced because of inflation. So what we need to do now is to ensure that our income grows so that they catch up with the prices that went up for other goods. So that is the thing that we can do. Now, how can you grow income? One, the first step is to slow down inflation rates so that the rate at which prices grow is maintained into single digit. And the government uses the monetary policy and also fiscal policy, Ministry of Finance, Bank of Zambia monetary policy to lower inflation. Much of our inflation is caused actually by the value of the Zambian kwacha, because most of the goods that we consume are imported. So when we import so much and the Zambian kwacha is at pressure, prices go up because now the importer will need more kwacha to be able to buy dollar, and then it's going to reflect in the prices. So now we have seen that the government has managed to reduce inflation, and it's going, I think this year, to be around 8%. I believe so. The exchange rate also has been strong. It has, of course, from 19, it has gone back to around 20. I think it's trying to find its feet. Then with that, we are going to see that in the long run, the inflation is also going to fall. The rate at which prices are going will reduce. Then now, a company will start increasing salaries year by year until we catch up with that particular phenomenon. The other thing to do is to increase when the citizens have much more of disposable income, because maybe the cost of imported goods has gone down due to the strengthening of the Zambian kwacha. What is going to happen is that the new importers in the future, near future, will reduce their prices, meaning demand for goods, because some of the things that we import are raw materials. Raw materials are a larger cost component for producers. So if the demand for goods of companies increase, companies will start demanding more employees. And when more employees are demanded, you're creating more employment, more disposable income, because there are new workers on the board, they'll start demanding good, and that's how the economy is going to be growing. So that does not happen midnight. It takes time. Sometimes it can even take. So giving credit, for example, to President Hakainde Hichilema, I think he has managed to steer us from a debt crisis into normal economic operations. We had defaulted in terms of debt. Now we are servicing our debt. We had increasing inflation. Inflation has reduced. We had, battered kwacha. The kwacha has done what, and you can see that now. I think we have stabilized. We have gotten back our credibility on the international money and capital markets. Now it's just growth. We just have to look at growth. So let's now see what tricks he has in his bag to ensure that there's growth in this particular country.
Yeah, and maybe just to throw in while you're at it, what then do we do with the fact that copper prices are going up, and we are, one of those larger copper producing countries in Africa. How then do we take advantage at this stage where the economy has stabilized, but then you've got higher prices in as far as copper is concerned?
So in terms of higher prices, what is happening is that the benefits are not seen overnight. Companies don't pay tax every morning. You are going to see increased tax inflows this year, because with higher copper prices, metal prices, they are going to expand production. And come June, July, when the taxes are going to be paid by the companies, we are going to see increased tax inflows. Increased tax inflows will lead to increased foreign exchange reserves. If you have seen, the Zambian government is now collecting taxes in US dollars and in Chinese yuan. And to give credit to the Bank of Zambia Governor Karialia and the Minister of Finance, I think they have managed to show the fiscal discipline that has moved our reserves from I think they found them about 2-point-something billion. And that they have put them to 5.2 billion. And I hope that by the end of this year we should surpass 6 billion. Actually, I'm planning that when they finish their 10-year cycle, we should be able to have reserves over $10 billion. At the moment, what we are seeing is that we have reserves. Our budget is about $10 billion US dollars. Yeah. So with $5.2 billion, government is able to fund the budget without collecting any revenue for the next 6 months, because we have revenue. So that's why these foreign exchange reserves are very good. But of course, the purpose of the reserves are for something else. The purpose of the reserves is to ensure that we are able to import goods and services easily. I think we have over 6 months import cover now. So the target should to be able to hit 10 billion. And also, I've seen that government has continued purchasing gold. We have a lot of gold. That's why a lot of people condemn the army commander from Lubinda Haabazoka. Job well done. You know, this country needs discipline. You need discipline to a level whereby the message is very clear. Whichever illegal miner is depriving Zambian citizens of revenue, because these miners are being used by foreigners. So when they illegally mine, they give them peanuts, because probably some of them don't even understand the value of this gold.
Absolutely.
They are given peanuts, and foreigners take that gold to Dubai. The woman in Chinsari who has no job, who receives social cash transfer, is denied of money and even capital to start a business, because taxes have not come in from the God-given mineral resources. We are not saying Zambians should mine. Zambians should mine, but they should go and get a license. Mine, and those that don't have money to mine, they can get employment from fellow Zambians. And Zambian businesses should be able to pay good salaries to their fellow Zambians to show as an example to foreign investors. So this gold should be mined by Zambians. It's our mine. So those when Sparks Mining, when other colleagues of mine that we know that they love to mine, we should give them licenses, let them mine, let them sell that gold to Zambia Gold Company. Zambia Gold Company refines it, sells it to the Bank of Zambia for kwacha. And Bank of Zambia can either sell it or they can keep it in the gold reserves. We need gold reserves to also exceed $1 billion, maybe $5 billion, just in gold reserves. That way we are going to be respected. Look at our friends in Botswana. Botswana was an admirable country. Now Botswana is going down. I can tell you that Zambia now is doing better economic-wise as compared to Botswana. It happens. Zimbabwe was better than us. Now we are doing better than Zimbabwe. My target is for us to be able to beat South Africa and to beat countries like Namibia. Those I'm jealous of, because the countries are beautiful, clean. Of course, South Africa, you can see it's going down. I don't want to beat South Africa because it's going down. I want South Africa to be going up, but we need to beat them because we have caught up and we have gone. But for us to be able to do that, people are not supposed to be throwing a litter on the street. People insult the councils. Councils are just human beings like that. The rate at which we are throwing trash in the street is faster than the ability of the council to collect that trash. We should create an environment where we are not even supposed to have trucks for the council to come and pick up trash. This Lusaka, for example, is divided in 2 zones, and each zone has a trash collector. So if you are doing business, don't just throw. I watched a clip in one of our compounds where when it rains, Shiambo Kuramo drainage, they start throwing trash on the road. But you have to have respect for yourself. The trash that you have generated at home, you are throwing in the trash in the road, in hoping that the rains are going to move that trash into the what? What if you threw condoms there? They are going to be on the streets? Or is that what you want to see your kids playing with used condoms on the streets? This is the type of thinking that we are supposed to start doing. So the responsibility of the country first is the citizen before you even condemn another person. I know Mayor Chilando very well. She's a very hard worker. And in terms of financial performance of the council you had collecting over 100 million kwacha a month. I'm sure salaries are being paid. Yeah. The council workers have even gotten credibility. Now they are even able to date girls. Now people are dating even good girls. So what we need to do now is to make it not to overwhelm the council, to be able to do what? To be able to, me near my home, you are not going to find trash. They have given me a company that I deal with, and every Thursday, I think today they are coming to collect my trash, and I pay. Don't say, but I don't have money to pay for trash collection. No, if you have money to develop trash, then you have money to do what? To collect, to dispose of it. You can't be able to say, I don't have money to dispose of trash when you are able to create that particular trash. So what I'm trying to say that citizens should be responsible. No one should have a free ride in this country. And Zambians, I know, there are a lot of hard workers in Zambia. These women that we are seeing on the streets are selling goods. They are not doing that because these are hard workers that want to put food on the table. But there are some bad eggs that are making it difficult for the hard workers to work. We can coexist with street vending, where everything is clean stores, clean what, we're able to coexist with people. But some bad eggs are, defecating in shaky what and throwing in the drainage. I will sorry to say this. They go to the toilet instead of going to a toilet, fee paying toilet, because that toilet has to be cleaned. So you need to pay one kwacha. I don't know how much they are charging. Drainage. What kind of human being is that? Even cats are not going to be able to do that. Cats are animals and they're cleaner than people that are behaving like this. You see a lot of shake things. Don't just go and kick it or what. There's urine there, there's trash there. But this is 2026. We are human beings. We are not Vikings or people. This is an era of AI. Let's not make it difficult. Let's not create jobs for other people to do. It's your trash. It's your responsibility. I'm not a perfect individual myself, but what I'm trying just to ask people, let's reduce stress on society. And I wanted to say one thing about us Zambians. Some of our cultures and some of our behaviors actually have a negative impact on even the growth of the country. For example, when you employ as a Zambian business owner will always have to be there in the business. Otherwise, the people are going to steal. When you look, for example, at Indians, they have a big shop, but the son or the what will be at the till. The daughter or the son or the owner will be at the till. One Indian is going to be moving around the shop, not seeing the behavior of the employees. It's because we are thieves. We are thieves. I'm telling you, we are thieves. You can't entrust anyone in Zambia with money now. I recently got a student, to work for me. They were struggling with fees. Then I said, okay, come and work for me. Gave them a job. That person has run away with the client's money, switched off the phones and disappeared. So just because of maybe canine pin, you run away. And you've run away from your school, you have run away from society.
Literally, your life.
Your life. That is canine pinife. And another employee washed me over 300,000 kwacha. Just washed, just like that. Now tell me, how am I going to trust the next Zambian? When you sit with expatriates or people that own business, they will tell you that you can't trust. When you employ there are Zambians are in different categories. There's skilled labor and unskilled labor. Unskilled labor you employ, you start paying them above the minimum wage. The day you just pay them salaries, just for the next 1 week they won't show up for work. So to be able to make sure that all the time there's employees at the company, because the company should be producing. That's why people are paying you 50 kwacha a day. That is not because the investor is a bad person. It's the behavior of the employer. And I'm not saying that all employees are bad. There are a lot of hardworking Zambians that you can trust in this particular country. But the bad eggs are making it very difficult for people to do business. I'm telling you, I've learned it the hard way. I've been doing business quite some time now, and I've told you I've mastered all our inefficiencies, and be in those towns all the time. Speak to people that own, but speak to Venaji BM. They'll tell you GBM, I'm sure, I heard somewhere, I don't know whether it's true or not, that he just gave up and sold these buses because he could no longer deal with conductors and what. I don't know if it's true. But
he used to be there yes. at Intercity most of the time.
And he used to be there at Intercity. GBM was not supposed to be.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, he was not supposed to be. There were trusting issues because people probably were stealing from him. So now, what country do we have? What country can we grow if our behavior is like that? But if now because of our collective behavior, now things are not going well. We have also one culture of trying to find who's responsible for your mischiefs, for your poverty. The first people, of course, who gets on the line is a councillor, followed by the MP, and followed by the government. You will change 9 million government colleagues, but if you don't change the way we behave, things are going to be very bad. Even up to now, you know that I'm always looking for a driver. For example, I told you on phone, I didn't want to drive here.
That's right.
I have a phobia, and I can afford to buy a car and give a driver. But immediately I employ that driver, all the secret, whatever I do in the world is going to come out in the open. Probably even steal from me. Probably even use the car and abuse it and what. So I'm scared of being bent. Once bitten, twice shy. And because of such risks, we are scared.
And when bigger investors hear this,
they'll tell you, no, Zambia, and our labor law is such that you can't fire a person. Even a person that has stolen from you 5 billion kwacha, $5 million, they are entitled to their severance package. Yeah. We should be able to say that if you steal money in huge amounts of money, you have to pay it back times 5. Then that way people will stop stealing. But people know that, I'll steal from this company. I've stolen 30,000 kwacha. If they catch me, they still owe me 1 million pension. So they'll just deduct 1 million. I'll get my the person will go and steal. So go and rewrite your labor laws. Make it punitive. In fact, when you are caught stealing, you should not even be given a second chance. Nowhere working. So for me, those people that have stolen from me, very soon the country will know about them. They should not be employed by anybody because they shouldn't make another person suffer. These are the problems. They might look small, but these are the problems that are making our country not develop.
This is the Thursday edition of The Burning Issue on the Happy Word of 5 FM radio, and we're also live on our partner radio stations, Katete FM in Eastern Province, Spice FM in Central Province, Kabwe to be precise, and ZFM in Kapiri. We are also live on Platinum Radio in Ndola and iWave Radio in Chingola. Also live is Tuta FM, of course, in Mansa, and we're live on Muchinga Radio in Chinsali and Isunga Radio in Northern Province, Senga Hill to be precise. All right, and our guest this morning on The Burning Issue is Dr. Lubinda Haabazoka. He is an economist and a lecturer at the University of Zambia. Now, you are in the media, and you've been quoted by several tabloids talking about how this government, the UPND government, has tremendously performed well in as far as the stabilizing the economy is concerned. And I think even here you've mentioned it. Is this an aspect of wanting to communicate to Zambians to say you recommend that this should remain as is, and we should not rush into changing a government?
Well, I think that in all honesty, Zambia first of all needs strong opposition political parties, and a strong opposition political party means a potential strong government. Yeah. At the moment, I know a lot of political parties haven't had their economic plan.
Okay.
So we do not need to rush into. I don't have the right to tell Zambians to vote for.
Of course, but you can tell from the economic perspective.
At the moment, for example, the most formidable group is a former PF, and they are very good people there. Honorable Given Lubinda, formidable person. Honorable Brian Mundubire. You have Honorable Kalaba.
Now Makebi
Zulu. You have Honorable or Comrade Fred Membe. Those are, credible people. But we have not seen, shadow Minister of Finance, shadow this. We need to be able to be very careful as a country. And from where we are coming from, I think that I think the UPND has proven that they have, managed to stabilize the economy. But what we expect from them is growth. I wouldn't want to cut this short, in my own opinion. They deserve another chance so that we can see now where they're going to lead. You remember Manawasa also stabilized the thing, won an election, and unfortunately he died. Imagine if we stayed with him up the whole 10 years. Probably it was going to be a very different story. And the team of Magande and Manawasa, that one was a killer economic team. So now Honorable Msokotwani, Dan Kariara at Bank of Zambia, and President Daka in the State House, I think that we have seen, first of all, the two Bank of Zambia Governor, Minister of Finance had experience in government. President Dechech had experience working with government departments, but he was much more in the private sector, so it's quicker than the other two. In the beginning, he wanted things to move quickly. He was being frustrated, but he has learned how to, maneuver around in the system to be able to get goals. But so I think he deserves another 5 years. If we haven't died now, I don't think we'll die in another 5 years. And for me, I think that my expectations were something else. Because he's a liberal economist, I'm a conservative economist. But in his approach, he has both liberal and conservative approaches, and I think is much more tilted towards even being conservative. If you have seen his pumping of resources in CDF, his pumping of resources into social cash transfer, food parks, investing in 26% in oil refinery in Angola. I would have expected him to run about private business to go and do that, but it's IDC doing that. Then IDC has created another energy company with Zesco called Kiona or something like that. So I'm seeing a lot of that's what I supported. That the government, you remember I said in the beginning, where government, Zambian citizens are not doing that, government can come in. NAPSA all of a sudden is no longer just building houses. NAPSA is
and not malls anymore.
Yes,
and not now they are thinking bigger.
They are thinking bigger.
Energy, I think, is one of
I've spoken to the NAPSA DJ.
Yeah.
Wow, very brilliant man. I've met him once and I've spoken to him. That person is the right person to be there. And when you change political parties, all those people are going to go.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So, and this is why I'm saying, let's allow maybe this to continue so that we can finish what we are doing. NAPSA investing in Mamba is going to go from 300 megawatts to 600 megawatts. There's another Chinese also doing, I think, 600 megawatts. So in the next 3 years, we're going to have about 1,000 megawatts or even more coming from thermal energy, from coal. That is base load. And thank heavens we have had good rains. We have a lot of solar projects coming. Zambia is going to be an net exporter of power, maybe even in December this year. Yeah. It can happen.
But of course, you from I know that you studied in Russia and you're coming from that part of the world that really has invested more in nuclear power. I mean, there was I think during the Patriotic Front regime, I think they had started the nuclear program, and it seems to have died down. Well, we've heard a bit about possibilities of resurrecting it. I mean, how urgent should this be looked at?
I think that it's an urgent thing. Power is the in thing. The reason why Tanzania has a power surplus, they have added more supply to the grid, but they also have what is known as suppressed demand. Not a lot of areas outside Dar es Salaam and Dodoma have access to power. Zambians now are having access to power. look at how our population is growing. From 2011 to 2020, it's doubled. And I'm telling you, in the next 10 years again, it is going to double. So you need more power. So power is the in thing at the moment. Two, the region also is growing equally like that. So we need to look at the hydropower station, and I'm asking the president to set up a task force, and I'm very ready to serve on that task force to go and re-engage with the Russians to see how we can do a nuclear power plant. Government might not even invest in it. We are going to do a business case. Zambian government is going to provide the land, maybe near Bangalore, somewhere there, and we are going to do a nuclear power plant. Zambia, by giving land, water to cool the power plant, we're able to get shareholding in that, and it will be self-sustaining. We are going to look at South African mines. We're going to look at Mozambique and other countries. Congo, for example. Huge. We even move in Zambian entrepreneurs can even move into Congo to start doing retail supply of power to areas that are not connected to the grid. We can do that. So as a country, we need to start thinking as the heart of the region. We are not supposed to be thinking, we are supposed to say, the region, what are they eating? And how are we able to feed them so that we can be able to make money? So in our economic development planning, let's start planning for the region, not only for what? Not only for Zambia. The government signed an agreement to export beef to Congo. Zambian farmers should start growing beef for that purpose. And I like it that the president made stealing animals unbearable. Do you know what happened to my farm on the Copper Belt? I would wake up, 8 sheep gone, boom, in the night, stolen. I wake up the other day, 14 sheep gone, goats stolen, gone, cows stolen. And one cow that time, this 2012, 2013, would cost 12,000 kwacha. That was like $2,000. Gone, stolen from me overnight. So let this be unbearable. It's true. Let them go and rot in jail for stealing other people's animals. You can't just, a person is vaccinating something, a person is doing what, you just wake up and you go and steal. What, goats, you have to be foolish and stupid to fail to keep your own goats. Why? Because goats keep themselves. You don't need to dip them. You just go fisula fia. I know the problem with the goodness with goats. They know where they sleep. So in the morning when you just open, they'll go there and eat. You sometimes don't even need to put water. They know where they find that water to drink. Then they come back and you lock them up. But that's what a person is feeling. They want to go and steal some other person's animals. I think we should stop this particular behavior.
Once again, this is the Thursday edition of The Burning Issue, and our guest is Dr. Lubinda Haabazoka. He is an economist and a lecturer at the University of Zambia. You did make mention something that I was interested in, where you said, well, I think when President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND came into power or into government, he was in a sort of fast gear. He wanted everything to move fast, but he found, and I think he's mentioned several times, rigidities in governments, and he embarked on reforms. And I think that he thought, well, maybe if we actually do policy reforms, we will be able to open a few areas. And I think just as well, you were still talking on energy. I think a lot of reforms were made in the energy sector, especially electricity subsector. And this is the reason why you are mentioning all these private investors and so on. It wasn't the case not long ago. Where else do you feel that we need to actually change policies just so that we move as a country in a better position economically?
I think one, business licensing. We need to amend that. Should be very easy. Compliance should be very cheap. We should just be paying one person. We need to redo the laborers. I know the trade unions are going to be very upset, but our laborers actually are killing jobs for the same members that we are talking about. Then we also need to work on our culture. We need the culture of performance. Coming for work is just not showing up. Coming for work is actually productivity. We need to also look at the vulnerable Zambians. Those that have no contacts, no clue, no money, no what. As society, what can we do for those Zambians? How can we help them to be able to sustain themselves? How can we help them? We have rivers and we have land, we have what? But when you drive around the country, you're going to find that land is lying bare. No one is growing anything. Nobody. People even laugh at farmers. What can you tell me? You're just a farmer. Then turn around, go and eat T-bone at East Park. T-bone comes from the farmer. So we need to be able to change a lot of mindset so that people should be able to understand the gravity of business. Without business, we are not going to go anywhere. No jobs, no nothing. So as a country, I don't think we need to even go back to a drawing board, because we have gone back to a drawing
several times.
Yeah? And we don't need to think outside the box, because we should not be in a box. Yeah, we should be very free to do a lot of things. So we need a lot of policy, and also look at leadership. We need to probably change our political system. To vote 1 year, the next election is after 5 years. Every day is just elections. Every day is just elections. Election. Meaning Dubai is building. Ethiopia, yes, they have challenges, but they are growing very fast. Our friends are not, they are not sleeping. They are growing. Uganda, they are building roads everywhere. Yeah, we are better than them, yes, infrastructure-wise, but they are catching up. So we are competing against other nations. So as a country, let's unite for once. After these elections, I hope we are going to unite and move together. I don't want to hear, no, this is another party, this is another party. We can be able to criticize each other without taking each other to court, without taking each other to prison, without taking each other to... Let's work as one person, just a single entity. Before I wake up, I love all Zambians. I only start being frustrated when people are frustrating me. And in Zambia, there's a culture. The person who works hard at work is the most hated. The person showing results is the person that everybody is attacking. We need to stop that culture, because we are stopping other people from doing what? From performing. These are small issues, but these are very big, and we shouldn't be jealous of each other. I was very good friends with the former president. May he so rest in peace.
Yeah.
And I think he did a good job. And ideally, a person in my situation would never even support the current president, for example.
Yeah.
But if I don't support him, then I'm not supporting myself, because his success is my success.
Yeah.
For example, and his Republican president voted by Zambian citizens. So if I am able to do what he's doing and I agree in what he's doing, I support him. Of course, there are a lot of things that needs improvement. We need more roads. We need, I don't want to mention school, because there's free education, and maybe here as an individual ambassador, my children go to private school and they pay so that I can leave space for those other people that want to go into government schools, because I'm able to afford. So I leave space for others. We need more conducive environment for business, for me. For example, money lenders. In money lenders are over 1,000 registered with the Ministry of Finance. And I know there's a new law they want to repeal. People hate money lenders because people don't want to pay back money. But money lenders are actually the ones that are providing resources. Even me, so I pay and then money lender. But I'm not insulting my money lender, because I just scored at 19 hours. Therefore, and the money arrived. Yeah. But when it comes to pay, I need to pay, because I borrowed, and I borrowed with interest. Of course, there are some bad eggs, but that segment employs a lot of people. We shouldn't kill them. Those are Zambians that are going to convert into banks. Look, I can mention Lupia, owned by Zambians. I can mention, for example, Premier Credit, Bedford Microfinance, Wayne's Finance. These are owned by Zambians. And if we want the Zambian to own a bank, because Zambians don't own banks, they need to start from somewhere. So we should not in trying to regulate our businesses, or just because we don't want to pay debt, we should not be killing other people's businesses. Right. Same with street vending. I'm against the idea of just coming throwing people's stuff, food and no tamakulasha, because that woman has said inatola kapenda mtauni nga nashisha nalasa nkushtirira onalashita mwefyakulya. So we can't just wake up and throw that person. So even the removal or optimization of street vending should be gradual. People should know that, oh, when I move from here, I'm going to be moved to there. So it is just gradual moving. Yeah. Or if I'm going to remain here, there's going to be a toilet, the stores are going to be clean, I'm going to cleanly blend into the city. Those are also Zambians. Even me, I'm a Zambian. But of course, we cannot support lawlessness in the city. The police, there should be more police officers in the city. If you look at Washington State, I've been to Washington, D.C., there's more police officers than people moving on the street. People are arrested for jaywalking. There you have no business just coming into town to stand. To stand for what? If you have no business in the city, go to the labor office and wait there where people are going to come and give you jobs. Because if a lot of idle standards, but I'm not saying we should banish those people. Those are Zambians, those people need jobs. So we need a strategy also for that segment of the Zambians, because they also want to have families. They also want to feed people. Those are Zambians, same NRC as you have. So those ones, we can't also neglect them. We need to be able to do what? To provide for them. But it's gradual. I can tell you that maybe some of us in our lifetime will never see a developed Zambia, because to develop a country, it's a task that takes long, and it takes each and every citizen to be on the same speed. So let's hope that Zambians are going to be on the same speed, and that things are going to move clearly. What I'm against of is a situation whereby we are fighting so much as Zambians. I don't think as Zambians we should be fighting. I heard the president is in Choma at his farm, and people are talking. You should have been worried if your president is doing deals. But the man is at his at his farm, and I know he's working. Me, I actually work more when I'm at home. So let's not be that trivial. What we need to be telling this president is not why you're at the farm, but we should say, while you're in Choma, have you seen that there's that compound? What it needs water? So can we come and meet you there so that we can go and show you what is happening? That's the best way of engaging with your leaders. Not to say you shouldn't criticize the president. President should be able to be criticized. That's why they are there. But we should be able to move into another level. Let's not degrade to the Donald Trump levels of criticism, where the whole Europe has even turned against him. We are Zambians. We are mature. We should have even respect. I see on social media, when they see a picture, people, why are you insulting a person you have never even seen? And when you insult a person, some of the people will remember. When a chance comes, that chance will never be given. I'm where I am because people gave me a chance, and that's why I also want to give other people a chance. I'm not here to speak on behalf of any person, but to support everybody. Be it opposition political leader, ruling political leader, they don't deserve to be insulted, and vice versa. Politicians should never insult citizens, because politicians serve Zambian citizens. So this national development agenda, it's collective. We move together. Whether you like somebody or not, you need to move. You don't like the people of Mutendere, as a leader, you still have to provide for the people of Mutendere. Whether the people of Mutendere like their MP or not, the people of Mutendere should work with their member of parliament. And in that process, they're going to succeed and end up loving each other.
Well, there you have it. And of course, I'll take phone calls on 0955221515. Our guest is Dr. Lubinda Haabazoka. He is an economist and a lecturer at the University of Zambia. You too can add a voice to this conversation, or indeed ask a question on 0955221515. Let's take this first call. Good morning.
Good morning, Zach.
Good morning to you. Thank you very much for calling. Share your name and where you're calling us from. Dr. Yeah, Dr. Proud. Yes, please, go ahead.
Today, we're in the circle that is going to come forth. I want to ask Lubinda Haabazoka.
Yes.
Counter planning in Lusaka. do it when you get the ministerial level where you start a province minister, the eminent secretary where you start. Is it where we can compete in South Africa where we include the minister of the house, we are still getting an appointment to be permitted to liberate South Africa. All those are people who should be 24/7 thinking to improve the city. And you that you can do with South Africa of India. But because India, we are not coming here, because South Africa are not coming here. When you go to the system, other time I have engaged with the system is part of some questions from the commission. Why are they not starting black of judge? You put it in the such a mouse commander. All those small things let us improve our mindset. It's not only the president. What can we do as these people to have a plan? And you need to have a plan. In the middle of when you are going to run this way, 1 year plan. Local government, infrastructure, industry. Have you seen my meat by another time? You know what I mean? My future is another. Now in our country, we are seeing somebody to repair because I think that you need to time is running out of that production. Which means that the directors are generating money. We are not doing the country to develop. When you go to the world, they go to money for me. That the country is still opening poor. When it is, that the director was in director of engineering, he told me from a city council, what is energy? We needed to dig water to dig, but then memorize the matter. But where is it going? Some people are getting a lot of them to the matter. Where's the going to go? September was the time of second city council going to that, but the same Macadam. Go to the matter. It was set as a catastrophe. Today, there is myself, encouraging the minibus, are packed outside. People are looking at my country around. Over that, this way we can do. Mind that details. Lord, I wouldn't be that. That person is going to pay for the millennium. No. That person is the power of money.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Proud. Thank you. Thank you very much for your call. And I think his emphasis is on the planning of the city. We don't seem to have a deliberate policy to improve the plan of the city. I think there's been quite a lot of talk about how we need to change the face of the city, so many unplanned settlements that need to be changed. But I'll come back to you. Let me take some more calls. Good morning.
Zach, good morning.
Morning to you. Thank you very much for calling. Please say your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you so much, Zach. My name is Banda.
Your name again?
Banda.
Mpande.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Thank you so much. So for me, Zach, let me talk about the issue of education. I know that Mr. Haabazoka is a lecturer.
Yeah.
And obviously, I want to talk about education.
Right.
Doc, there's an issue of the new curriculum in schools. And we've seen that history, I stand to be corrected, and it's still there. And if you look at the history that was there, and obviously, I'm sure that's the history that is still there. What we're not taught in school, is it adding any value to our education system? Taking us back to the days of the shakas and so on, and everything that is in that history, that is not helping at all to these people that are the also about the issue of the pathway. An increase from these years that we had pathway as a problem, we now move to 70. What is it that happened for us to move from where we were to where we are now? Is it The thing is also that it has impact on maybe it's just the teachers that have been employed of rate. I think we've said of a good number of teachers that have been employed. What is it that have pushed the percentage to go to 70? Finally, let me talk about the point now.
The what?
I think
your line is getting worse, Mr. Mpande, unfortunately. I don't know whether you are moving, but we seem to be losing you.
Okay. What about now?
Much better. What did you say finally you want to talk about?
I want to talk about politics.
Politics?
Yes.
All right. Be brief, because those are like three things that you are bringing up. Please be brief.
Okay. Let me be very brief.
Yeah.
I think I'm taken aback from the PF. Let me be very precise about it.
Yeah.
The PF that are talking about the health of the president. I think it's very, very unfortunate that we can have a political grouping that is wishing the president back. I think such kind of politics should never be tolerated in a country like ours, where you wish politics is that if politics is dirty, those are individual politics, and they should be allowed to come back into power because their way of politicking is evil. Their way of politics is very bad. I thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mpande, for that. Let me take one more, and then we can respond on 0955221515. That's the number you're calling us on. I've got Vinja Swale on Facebook who says, and I think you've already answered this, but you can still, says, Doc, would you state or tell whether you are in a position of allowing the UPND government continue governing us till 2031? All right. Let me take this call, then we can respond. Good morning.
Good morning, Zach. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you. This is Roman Sanjay calling from Kanyama Central Zambia.
Roman Sanjay.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay, and you?
Thank you very much. In the first place, I think you are on point. That's why in the Pania Migirauda, I think it's getting in up with a pap, those are the manager to fire. I replace Nagam for the Muhai here. So the way I've elaborated then I was not going to so who does the honorable economy? I mean, on
Woman Sanjay, we are losing you as well.
No, in terms of feeding the economy.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
In terms of feeding the economy. It's one way of feeding the economy. There is production. People are getting money. Not in Mankaraja, the window is in the capacity of the economy is bad. It doesn't make sense. We have to wait. We have to also to produce so that we can export and be not depending on exporting. Otherwise, we are listening. Let us go be productive.
Thank you, Woman Sanjay. Let's respond. I'm not sure if you would like to, but let me just put an emphasis on Mr. Mpande's issue on the new curriculum in the education sector, and I think he was talking about precisely. Don't you think that these Zambians that you see today, the Zambians with an attitude, a bad behavior, and the mindset that we need to change, started from our education?
Well, I think that actually our education system should include more of history and philosophy. Kids of nowadays, you can't know where you're going unless you know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And if you look at history in Europe and in America, it's actually a very, very important course. We need to be able to learn from mistakes of the past,
Yeah.
so that we should not repeat them in the present and in the future.
Yeah.
All we need to do is to revise it. For example, if I asked a Zambian who is a Viking, they won't tell me who a Viking is. They don't know how Vikings used to survive. And some of our people are living like Vikings at the moment. So they don't know how to keep warm, how to preserve food, how to do what, because they don't have basically that knowledge. So we need, we need philosophy. It's very important, so that we know where science comes from and why we need science. And we need the cultural science as a course, so that people should learn cultures of different countries, so that they're able to deduce what is wrong with my culture. Sometimes culture can be described as what did I describe it the other day? Combined stupidity. I think that's how why? Because you can be doing stupid things and call them culture, but those things are stupid. For example, people would go and circumcise women. That is stupidity. It's not culture. You see. So if people that are doing that and children are dying, they should know that what they are doing basically, it's stupidity. You can't go and circumcise women. Then it's not even in the Bible. You see. Then why there's a high pass rate? Of course, we have employed over 50,000 teachers the past 5 years. So the teacher pupil ratio has increased. So there's more teachers to handle students or pupils. So of course, you are going to find the pass rate has gone up high. And of course, they don't pay the exam fees and what. So more people are writing, more people.
And I think there's also more teachers that are upgrading their education.
Education, yes, that degree. Those days you used to have certificate and all, but now they're having degrees. We have the School of Education at UNZA, and you can see people are studying. And if they are being employed with degrees, of course, you're going to see a result in the improvement on what. And let's hope we are going to see an improvement in the behavior of citizens. I can see, I take my children to a private school. Of course, there are very good teachers there. And you can even see that they are knowing stuff that I was only knowing at grade 10, grade 11. But they are in grade 6, grade 5. They already know about those things. You're able to discuss Greenland. You're able to discuss when, who set up. They will tell you, oh, well, these things, the Vikings were the first people to Greenland. They landed what, and they called it Greenland because they wanted to entice other people to go to this icy place. That's a 9-year-old boy telling you those particular stories. That is education. So that person is able to interact. By the time they are doing AI, they are out of this world. Mr. Swale, of course, I've already made it known that the alternative to UPND should have a plan. This is a country we're talking about, and at the moment, I haven't seen a plan. So I would rather, go with what is currently working, and I don't think that we are going to lose anything if we allowed President HH to continue. There's what is known in economics as Pareto efficiency, which was developed by a guy called Vilfredo Pareto. And he stated that an economy is efficient if resource allocation is done such that you are able to make one person better off without making another one worse off. Meaning there are a lot of people that have been made better off without making others worse off. People have been given jobs and what. So that is basically, efficiency. So I wouldn't want to debate. I want people to really, citizens to engage with alternatives much more. What is your economic plan? Who is going to be a vice president? Who's going to be minister of finance? What policies are you going to take? This time elections should just not be about music. It should be about plans and what. That said, I can see that I can even tell you which people I think will rule this country after President HH. You know, there are a lot of them, and I give them respect, and I know them personally. All these people that I've mentioned, they're my friends. I know them like personally, you know, but you need to give them time. You know, Tonse is fighting, Uka is fighting, Ana Alliance, you know, they're all fighting. So I mean that those fightings can be replicated in government. That's
true.
Yeah. So we don't want to have that, and you know, they should have settled these issues 4 or 5 years ago. You know, so that we start moving in one. Mr. Musanje says kudos. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Right. Let's see if we can take some more calls. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. Your name and where you're calling us from?
You're talking to Morgan.
Morgan, please go ahead.
Lubinda Haabazoka, good morning.
Good morning.
You know, in Zambia, we are growing economy. So you can't compare with Zambia, the economy. So what we need is to make everybody busy, okay? You know, in China, everybody is busy. Talking about funding, well, do something, whatever you are doing, and you can grow economies together. That's how we need to do it. So right now, we are doing well. But there's some people who are still complaining that, but people are here and that. All people have got 1-1. So, meaning circulation water is not enough. So that's what we are saying, that what can we do in order everyone to be happy? But we know that there's nobody who can do magic things to go down. The things always go up. But what the people want there outside, even those voters, meaning if that is to make their life easier. That's one the point. So this is the issue we are saying here, talking about the economy. I don't know why we are talking circumcision. What told you circumcision? I thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's quickly look at Mulumbeni Chirwa. I think he has quite a very interesting question. So Mulumbeni Chirwa on Facebook says, given the UPND government's core economic strategy implementing IMF mandated austerity to secure debt restructuring and attract foreign investment is succeeding on its own terms, e.g., reaching a deal with official creditors, rising copper FDI, projected GDP growth, why are these macro level gains failing to arrest and in some cases actively exacerbating a rapid deindustrialization and informalization of Zambia's domestic economy, thereby structural poverty instead of creating inclusive prosperity?
Well, I think that you can't grow the economy if your government is going through a crisis. The crisis itself is going to eat you up. And we needed to tighten the belt and to start paying debt. We had defaulted on our debt. We were not servicing that debt. So if you are not servicing debt, you have to start buying things by cash. So whether you are pumping in money into the economy, you won't have that money to pump in because simply your businesses are unable to do business. So the first step I think that government needed to do was to bring the public finances in order, and that has been done. So now let's see which route we are going to move in. And I don't think structural poverty was created because what I think government did, those that are unable to provide for themselves, we expanded on the number of not CDF, what do you call it? Social cash transfer. Yeah. Yes, and of course CDF. But CDF also needs improvement. A lot of Zambians, especially in our communities, they need to have access to that. So for them to be able to have access, we need to provide information. So they should know where to go and apply, for what to apply and what to do.
Yeah. But again, you know that the report has shown
that they're not paying back.
Exactly.
Don't forget on the party culture. That's the
comes
culture.
back to, yeah.
So by Mr. Chiro, for example, you have seen what is happening, which poverty have we created when people are not paying back loans as a country. So Zambians,
and that is supposed to be a revolving fund.
Yes, but it can't revolve unless people pay back.
Yeah. Interesting. But then let me squeeze in a quick question with regards the fiscal. Let me talk about, first of all, the tax regime in as far as the mining is concerned. I mean, there's been a lot of talk. Do you describe this as the best tax regime that has been implemented by this government?
Mine tax or just overall tax?
Yeah, overall, actually mine tax.
I think mine tax, we are still using the same one we used to use for variable taxes. I think what the only thing that has been introduced is to make turnover tax tax deductible, meaning it's considered as an expense. You still pay it, but when you declare taxes, they remove that component. You know, companies now were crying about the introduced 1% alternative tax, whether you have made money or not. You need to pay that 1%. Now imagine you are a mine, whether you make a loss or profit, 6% mineral royalty tax has to be paid, and I think it's gradual. So I do not see any issues there.
Because also we used to have challenges with probably, wrong declarations in as far as profits and the like. So they used to get away with it also.
I think that with the mining companies, what we need to know is that it's not the actual taxes or its structure, it's how to make them comply.
Yeah.
That is where the problem is. So compliance is an issue.
Interesting. Well, let me see if we can squeeze in one more call on 0955-221515. Good morning. Francis. It's morning. It's morning, Francis. Yeah, please. Well, your line is breaking. Much better. Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, you can get me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, yes. Economics is the study of production concerning the needs of this economy to strive, to do better than it could have been yesterday. Now, for me, I want the huge critical issues that I would like to educate the nation at large and discuss how it's been. The airline sector, I think we're lagging behind. Zambia is a hub. The way our strategy is there. They had. And so many airlines are taking advantage, making so much money at the end of the Zambia. Then too, Zambia won't afford the cheaper flying a rate of this big kind airline. According from one side, what is it that is government? What can we do to improve and make sure that we have a bigger network operate in Zambia Airways? And not only that, on the cargo section alone, not only passenger, but cargo section, we are losing a lot of money. Imagine if we're able to export even fish, tomatoes, and mangoes when they are there, because some of these factories are supposed to make here. If we can get exporting like this,
yeah, we seem to be losing you again, Francis. Yeah, your line got bad. Fortunately, Francis, we couldn't hear you anymore, but I think we get your question, especially on the airline. Now, I've got another interesting one. Let me give you two more from Facebook. This one is from Henry Mavimba. Henry says, good morning, gentlemen. We have recently seen copper prices boom, obviously fueled by a high demand and supply of electric vehicles and other that depend on copper. Zambia has high revenue potential that can actually impact debt and currency management. We expect these to benefit the public if we tackle tax laws that should actually favor the country. What is your advice on this? And what is your take on removal of windfall tax on mines. This is from Siweso, as well from Facebook. Maybe, quickly we can respond to those, Doc.
So I'll start with Siweso. Actually, Zambia has windfall tax, mine tax. So what normally happens that when the copper price goes up, the tax rate increases. It's a variable tax rate. So Mwanawasa nicknamed it windfall tax. The tax rate was introduced under the PF government, and it actually is sits. So the windfall tax, as we know it, is there. That's why you have heard me stop talking about the variable. So when you look at variable tax, the more the price of mineral, the more the tax. That is what government is doing, and that is also to answer to Henry that this year we might record high revenues in mine tax regimes. But for us Zambians to be fully able to benefit in this, Zambian citizens and ZCCM should fully participate in the mining of our resources. We can't reverse these mines, we can't grab them with the habilitation and those things, but what we need to do is the new mines, big ones, where there's nice copper ore, as a country we need to invest in them. We need to find a financing mechanism where we are going to invest in these mines and own them. That way we are going to benefit.
Right. Henry spoke about how do we intend to obviously benefit as a public if we tackle tax laws as it should favor the country.
Well, I think we are going to benefit in increased revenues for government, but we also need to know that as Zambians we're a lot chasing few resources. So in 2 days ago I was talking about our family planning and to reduce the sizes of our families. You know, if you have 10 children, for example, you are getting 10,000 kwacha, you really struggle. Even if I increase your size to 20,000 kwacha, you continue struggling. And for me, we have to increase it by far much for you to be able to provide luxury for 10 children. This is the same with government. The population is huge, needs are a lot, but the resources are meager. So even if it moves, copper prices move from $10,000 to $13,000, it's a bit negligible based on our ability to, based on the population and the size of the economy. It's good in the long run. If these things are persistent, it's very good. So we need to just see now how we need to stockpile this money so that it can be used for infrastructure development and creation of new companies. But the benefit can be even seen in the foreign exchange reserves. They are growing. Those reserves don't come from the air. They come from the same tax that mining companies are paying, because mining companies contribute about 76% of the foreign exchange inflows in the country. So definitely we are going to see this, and the first signal, I'm sure, is in it's normally seen in the foreign exchange reserves. That is on condition that the Bank of Zambian government are stockpiling more from minerals. But we also have a $15 or $16 billion external debt to tackle. So also that
we
is
have to
also,
think of servicing it.
All that has to be paid. So even if you have high revenue from the mining industry, there's a debt to which you need to service. The size of the mining industry, I think, is around $11 billion. If these prices hold for this year, we expect them to be about $13 billion. So if we are taxing 6% of that, that's how much you get from only mineral royalty. Then now there are other taxes that the mines pay as you earn. They also contributors, the land rates, the what. So there are a lot of other, the income tax. So basically, there's a lot of other taxes that kick in.
The fact that foreign-owned mining companies are now paying either in US dollar, it has always been the case, but now in the Chinese currency. Just share with an ordinary Zambian out there how this will benefit our economy, especially with them paying in yuan.
I think what normally happens is that when you just keep one currency in forms of reserves, then you haven't diversified your portfolio. Central banks would keep the pound, they'll keep the euro, they'll keep the what, but for us, it would be reckless for us to be able to collect dollars and go and buy euros. So, because there are transaction costs involved. So, but there's a gimmick where, some Chinese minds will probably want to pay in Chinese yuan because the copper goes to China. So it's cheaper for them. And, the Chinese currency is not just a Chipande currency. This is a very fungible currency. The IMF recognizes it as a reserve currency, and it's normally used to calculate the special drawing rights, which is the IMF's currency. So we have diversified. When the kwacha misbehaves, the yuan is there. For example, when the Zambian kwacha now has gained value, our reserves in kwacha terms have dropped. That is basically what it means for the country.
So is this positive?
It's a positive move, and we also encourage beyond that to stockpile gold. You remember I was talking about gold reserves, yes, because gold, it's not controlled by any country, so no country can put sanction on the gold that you have in your votes.
Interesting. Well, Doc, unless you have a concluding remarks, we must be coming to an end of the program today.
To conclude, one Zambia, one nation. Let's love one another. No hard feelings. Chalo Fiech.
Chalo Rant. Thank you very much, Doc, for coming, and we can only wish you all the best. We hope that we will have a conversation again pretty soon, and I know that your doors are always open for us to engage with you. Thank you once again for coming.
Thank you very much.
Well, to you, our listener, we appreciate the fact that you followed our conversation attentively, and especially those that took time to participate. We really appreciate and most sincerely appreciate our partner radio stations that carried this program live on their platforms. And we also appreciate the fact that we got conversations going on our Facebook page, meaning that those that were listening in via our Facebook page were following attentively. We appreciate that too. Well, we will definitely be coming back next week for both Tuesday and Thursday editions of The Burning Issue. From now, we say thank you very much for having followed us, and we can only wish you all the best. Bye-bye.
Tune in next week for another edition of The Burning Issue, and thank you for your participation.